Danielle, Kat. My name is Gia, and I'm with Young Voices Making Choices.
Okay.
And we have the pleasure of supporting you as well as break the silence on domestic violence this evening.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for this opportunity and allowing us to support you.
I appreciate it.
Based on your experience, what advice do you have to millennials looking to not just pursue their passion, but when people tell them that they can't do it? You've done so much. I don't feel like can't is in your vocabulary.
Yeah, I think passion is something that you can't deny. You know what I mean? Like when you're passionate about something, like can really be undeniable. Put your heart into it, go for it. Like I had to deal with a lot of adversity when it came to being a tattoo artist, especially me being at a big university, majoring in math, and it's like I could do you have any lane, or I had any lane that I wanted that I could choose from. So, choosing to be a tattoo artist, like I went through a lot of struggles thinking that, I was lesser or that I wasn't good enough or whatever, or I was a bum. I felt a lot of those ways. So I would just say, just stay true to what you want to do and become great at it. Like if you become great at it, whatever it is, there's really no, denying that.
Now, my understanding is you ladies are from the Windy City, Chicago.
Yes.
Now, based on your experience, there's so much going on in your city. What social justice issues really speaks to you both there?
I mean, definitely, I feel like, and it's not just in Chicago, it's something that you see is worldwide, but just, being discriminated against simply because you're black or African American. I can't count how many times, whether it's the club that loves to play our black music, they love our culture, but when it actually has to dealing with us, it's a different story, And it's just, something that as a female, I haven't actually had it happen to me, but just so many of the men in my life that I've actually seen go through it. It's crazy, and, it's something that we definitely have to deal with one day at a time. It's not going to be an overnight process.
Yeah, I can piggyback off of what she's saying. Like, a lot of people don't know that I'm black or whatever watching the show. People really be questioning, like, oh, who's the white girl trying to be black? And I'm like, no, I have a very strong black father. I grew up, he always, tried to instill that in me. When I came from a very diverse neighborhood, my high school, like, we never saw color, right? But until I grew up, graduated high school, trying to be a tattoo artist was my first time actually seeing race and feeling discriminated against, especially in the tattoo industry. Like, black tattoo artists are not respected, and so for me to be a black female and to let my work be good, comparable to all the people who told me that I would never be able to break into this industry. So it makes me feel good. Like I can really do something not only for black people, but for black women as well.
And empowering yourself to follow your dreams, given all that you have been through and being her best friend, how do you feel that women should support each other through some of their most difficult struggles? Like, as we are aware, I know you have been a victim of domestic violence, but as her best friend, and how did you guys get through this?
I mean, it's just, being that ear. Sometimes all it takes is not the advice, but just being that person, that soundboard,
Right.
Just sitting there as she vents to me about, everything that she's been through, because sometimes that's the best therapy. Like, I don't need you to talk, just hear me. Like,
One thing that I can say about her, Danielle's been my very, very loyal friend for years, and she's never, ever judged. And I think that's one thing that women need to stop doing is judging each other, period. Like, I have a past that people might not know about, you know what I mean? I've done anything that I've wanted to do, you know what I'm saying? And I have friends like Danielle who, support me through whatever mistakes I've made or whatever choices I've made. So I think that that's one of the biggest things when it comes to women empowerment. Like, stop judging other women, okay? There's some people that do stuff behind closed doors or do it out there. I have friends who judged me when I dropped out of college to become a tattoo artist. So that wasn't a good feeling. So I think that that's the main thing. Women, stop judging other women, okay? Empathize, relate. I used to think, even with my past relationship and my domestic violence situation, I would have thought that never happened to me. I thought that didn't happen to girls like me until it happened to me, and it just really opened up my mind and saw, like, anybody can go through anything. Anything can happen to anybody. So that's my biggest piece of advice.
And lastly, you touched on a very big point. I feel like a lot of millennials look at issues and feel as if, well, that can't happen to me. That's removed. That was the baby boomers, Generation X.
Right.
Being millennials, how do you feel that men and women can identify signs of an abusive relationship? How do you feel like they can get out? Like, what do you wish someone had told you? that you didn't know at the time?
I think that it takes a lot of courage. I guess my biggest thing, I was afraid to talk about it. When it happened, I was afraid to tell anybody, you know, and with that, I held it in, and the only person that I could talk to about it was the person that did it to me. You know what I'm saying? So I would say don't be afraid to speak up about your experiences. Don't let anybody take, even if it's bad, good, it's your experience. You know, you can't help what happened to you. And a big part of me moving on from it was speaking up about it. Because once I started talking about it, I saw that there were so many other women who went through it, or who could relate to it, or how many people I can help, or people who can help me just by, I'm embarrassed to speak about something, but then as soon as I speak about it, you know, someone else fills me on it, you know? So I guess that would be my biggest advice, like, you know, speak up. Break the silence against domestic violence.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm Kat Tapp from Black Ink Crew Chicago, and we are all about young voices making choices.
Hey, I'm Danny J from Black Ink Crew Chicago, and we are all about young voices making choices.